My name is Shannon Fahey. I'm here the guest speaker for tonight on faith and disability. How my Catholic faith helps me cope with my unique physical disability. I graduated from UMM in 2002. And I'm currently working on an autobiography entitled, Are You Drunk? I will explain why I'm entitling it that. And that ties into my talk, how I deal with ignorance and how my faith helps me cope with that increasingly foolish ignorance. I was born with a unique neurological disorder known generally as ataxia. It stems from Greek in origin. It means lack of order. Hereditary ataxias are, I'll pass around this book so we get a visual. Okay, that's cerebellum. Okay. The cerebellum is a small region, small gray region about the size of your fist. In the back of the brain, which controls both gross and fine motor coordination, as well as higher level executive decision-making processes. All ataxias are total a rarity 1 in 3 million. Both dominant, which will ataxias, most of them are rapidly progressive. Anyone who knows about Minnesota Twins history may remember hearing about Bob Allison. He died from complications of a rapidly progressive ataxia, which prematurely took his life. Onto some specific. I've been diagnosed specifically with static congenital recessive cerebellar ataxia. And what that means, I'll break it down. Static means it will not get worse over time. Congenital means onset at or before birth. And the reason I say at or before birth is the kind I have mirror images of cerebral palsy, and I did not get this diagnosis until I was 26. So, given I did not have a clear diagnosis, my childhood wasn't easy. And recessive just means that at least my specific type of ataxia has skipped generations. I'm a carrier, my parents are both carriers. That's how I ended up with it. in a dominant ataxia impacted family, it'll wipe out whole generations. And the thing about Bob Ellison, his onset was, I believe, in his 50s. So the uniqueness is because it's like congenital. Very, very few ataxias are congenital. A person will be a carrier, they'll be fully able-bodied, and like that, they'll start showing ataxic like symptoms. Their speech, their handwriting will get worse, walking will become more difficult, and so such. Cerebellar, I passed around the book, explained earlier, and the rear of the brain, and what will happen with the more rapidly progressing ataxias is that the cerebellum will start to get worse and worse. And the rarity is 1 in 1.5 billion. Only 4 known cases in the world, and humbly, I must admit I'm one of them. Oh, lucky me.
Yeah.
And my general symptoms, unsteady in both upper and lower limbs, very poor fine motor coordination, slow and uneven speech patterns, and poor gait, with floppy ankles, rather. Specific, I'm unable to drive. I forgot my name stamp, but I can't legibly write my own name. I have a hard time feeding myself. I have to often repeat myself. And I'll pass around the AFOs. And AFOs stand for ankle foot orthosis, also known as leg braces.
So what are these?
They are leg braces, or commonly known by those professionals who make them as AFOs, which is short for ankle foot orthosis. I have another pair on right now. They're a tracker pattern. Okay. How these symptoms impact my life? They're obviously, I have some major crosses in my life, but I try my best to make the best of it. I often state that my disability fuels my faith. I think on my good days, I joke around about the everyday difficulties. On my bad days, I think we all fall into this trap. Ask God, why? or become frustrated with their spouse. Something I've struggled with is that if it's God's will to miraculously heal me, we know it's God's will to heal. But ultimately, that's up to Him, not me. And I talked about the cerebellum earlier. I'm gonna just, that's the extent of the case and disability. The last 4 to 6 months of my life have been very unpredictable. In March, it was the end of March 27th, I was walking or trying to make my way to the bus stop. One icy morning, I fell, hit my head, and blacked out. I was rushed to Regent's Hospital in St. Paul. Had the ER staff at the hospital thought I may have fractured my face. So they ran 3 CT scans, one in my head, one in my neck. They said, oh my gosh. He has a 2 square inch tumor on his neck. Or 2 days, and then the third one was on my entire body. Immediately, I know this from reading the medical transcript. Immediately, they knew it was some type of lymphoma. 2 days later, I had a biopsy, which was for Friday, March 29th. Oddly enough, Good Friday. And on April 1st, a Monday at 11 p.m., I get a call from a ER physician saying I have Hodgkin's lymphoma. I thought it was a joke. So immediately I thought, what is this? I Googled Hodgkin lymphoma, found out it was a kind of cancer. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have cancer. So then, or shortly after that, I met with an oncologist at the University of Minnesota Muscadina Cancer Center in the Twin Cities. Was informed that this is highly treatable and highly curable. I have a 95% cure rate after chemo. I breathed a huge sigh of relief. That wasn't the end of it, though. On Friday, oh yes, I'm forgetting one detail. I was, after seeing the oncologist, I was diagnosed more specifically with stage 2B Hodgkin lymphoma. Stage 2 because there were 2 tumors above the diaphragm. And the diaphragm is right below your lungs. And B, because I had night sweats. I wake up in the middle of the night and I pull a lot of sweat. So that explains why that was happening. And that was happening even before I fell. So God was truly watching out for my well-being that day. On Friday, April 26th, my primary tumor was in my neck, pushing on my trachea. So I kept on coughing and coughing every 5 to 10 minutes, and I was struggling to breathe. So on that Friday, I was rushed from where I work at Walmart in St. Anthony to the emergency department at the U. I was there for 5 hours. I had one more CT scan because they thought I may have blockage in my lungs. But then I found out after talking to a radiology oncologist that no, it was my tumor crossing on my trachea. And she said, my gosh, why haven't you started chemo yet? So I didn't start chemo a day. She basically said, you should have started yesterday, Shannon. Why are they delaying? So, I was planning to go to World Youth Day with Joey and our friend Brother Max in July, but I didn't go because of the chemotherapy. Right now, I've had 5 months of chemotherapy. I go in every 2 weeks, and they sit me down in a padded chair, a blue padded chair. They put it's an IV drip for 3 hours of 4 drugs: adriamycin, bleomycin, vinblastine, dicarbazine. And you have that on the lines I gave you. The only drug that really has the adriamycin, they're large syringes filled with these ruby red liquid. And the ruby red liquid is excreted from the kidneys within minutes of being administered. And you have to go to the bathroom immediately, or you'll have that toxin going through in your urinary tract. It's a dangerous process, but hey, thank God I'm alive. And I've had okay, I have 2 more treatments that came out. One on Monday the 30th, so this coming Monday, and done again on October 14th. And I had the 2 sets and 3 of these tests, and 1 of the 4 tests. The EKG echocardiogram is an ultrasound down of your heart. So they take the ultrasound one and go over where the heart is. A pulmonary function test, you breathe into it's a breathing test. They check can you exhale for 6 seconds? I've had some difficulty, but I have a little asthma still. And the PET scan is a very long test. 2 hours, they put you in a machine, you lie down, they put a contrast in you. Either you drink a milky banana flavored substance, it's not too appetizing, or they inject this contrast into your veins intravenously, and then they look and see if your tumors are there or not. And praise God, the second time they checked my tumors, they're inactive. They are gone. And then the fourth test I had was on April 20th, so I get the bone marrow biopsy. And thank God again, the cancer never went to my bone marrow. So that's pretty much it.
Can you tell
It's
us?
been a wild ride.
Can you tell us about but you're going to tell us about the title of your book.
Yes, I'll tell you about the title of the book. Some people who haven't heard my talk, they ask me if I'm drunk, which I just kind of laugh at. I was in France traveling with my family in 2000, had some French teenagers ask me if I had any beer, and I said, in French I replied, no, je besoin de, which means, no, I need some. So, yeah, I use a little humor to lighten the mood.
That's good.
Any questions?
Yeah, I have some. You said that your parents were carriers. So, do you have other brothers and sisters?
I have 2 sisters. One is minorly impacted. She has 2 children of her own. The concern was that before she had a family, if she were a carrier, and if the trait would be actively passed on to her kids. And I forget what she went through some genetic counseling. I forgot what the tests show, but she hasn't passed it on to her offspring. But I wouldn't mind going through DNA profiling myself just to know what kind of traits I have.
So okay, correct me, you were born like this, or you didn't get it till after?
No, I was born like that. That's what the congenital and the title and the diagnosis means. And it's in my book I talk about how in my family it has skipped generations. I had a possibly a great uncle who also had ataxia. What my grandparents and other family members have told me is that he lived in Burnsville, and everyone thought he was a drunk, an alcoholic, till he died prematurely at age 40. They opened the cabinets expecting to find all these alcohol bottles, but there was nothing. So they were deeply embarrassed and ashamed.
So are people generally kind to you when they see you out in the public?
Generally, it's few and far between. The ignorant, I've been fortunate enough to travel to 15 different countries around the world, and in different cultures they get way different reactions. People stare, they ask me if I've been drinking, and all that crazy stuff.
Has there been any other like trials with your legs to get you to be able to walk better? I know you said before a different time that you went through a couple steps to get the right kind of braces for you to not break them all the time.
Yes, I walked at 2.5 with leg braces. Before that, my parents I was small enough I could be carried places, but obviously not now.
Yeah.
Joey, that's you.
Yeah. Oh,
You
what me? I gotta carry him.
Around, yeah.
Yeah. Now you get driven around instead of carried.
Yes, I do.
But have they looked into any other braces that maybe go up more on your leg to?
Well, they're all they're known as KFOs, K1B, knee foot orthosis, and no, they haven't looked into that. It's not my knees that are weak,
Right.
it's my ankles that are floppy.
Okay.
And if I don't wear the brace, I can still walk, but my ankles tend to roll. And I have sprained my ankle. If I don't, I have a tendency to roll my ankles and sprain them if I don't wear the braces.
So Shannon, you said before that you're taking a chemo regimen right now. So you go into your chemo every couple of weeks. What happens once you come out? What are the effects of the chemo, and how do you have to care for yourself after the chemo?
I sleep. My employer has been very understanding. I'm able to take my days off. Monday, Tuesday, most recently, and then Monday I pretty much, Mondays I have chemo. I sleep most of the day after that. And then depending upon how I'm reacting to the chemo, on Tuesday I feel like a zombie. I can't focus my eyes. I feel drunk. And the rarest side effect from the chemo is hiccups.
Oh, really?
And they've lasted as long as 8 hours, or they'll last as short as 2 hours, and they'll fluctuate back and forth. So I'll have hiccups for 2 hours, then they'll be gone for 4 hours, and back again for 6 hours. But as I've been telling everyone in the Twin Cities, it sure beats the alternative.
Yeah, so do I.
So how long have you worked at Walmart?
9 years. At 2 different stores. I'm a people greeter there.
Okay. And this is where at, with Silver?
Oh, I live in Roseville. I work in St. Anthony.
And you have your own place, apartment? Or
Yes, it's a subsidized apartment.
Okay, cool.
And I've been staying at my, after I had chemo, I've been staying, my parents own a condo in Bloomington. So I'm able to stay there for 1 or 2 days, 1 or 2 nights after chemo. My mom is a nurse practitioner, so she's been giving me a shot to help boost a new lifestyle, which helps boost my white blood cells. If they're too low, I can't have chemo.
How's the book coming?
I'm on chapter 9.
Thanks.
I'm working on a chapter entitled Conquering Cancer.
Oh, there you go. You get new chapters every year. You're never gonna finish.
Well, I'm gonna limit myself to about a dozen chapters, so I'm almost there.
Any other question?
That's it.
I think that's it. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.